Rush Limbaugh's entire career has been apologetics for the Republican Party and deeply unscientific tirades. Well, since Stephen Hawking died, Rush decided to dabble in the unscientific tirades part of his legacy, and this is one of his most embarrassing moments yet.
The Big Bang. Let's look at the Big Bang. People accept that the Big Bang is how all of this began. Now, again, folks, I have a belief. One of the ways I have proven to myself, because I think we all try to do this, we accept the faith, but then we still test it. As long as there are questions that we can ask, meaning we have been created with the intelligence to create or ask these questions, this quest for knowledge. If there are questions we can ask to which we will never have the answers, then that gives me confidence that there is more than just life on Earth. What is the point of creating beings who can ponder such places if they don't exist? Consider the Big Bang. And again, I'll admit, I'm just a college dropout radio guy. Okay? I'm not a professional physicist. I'm not a professional scientist. I do not own a lab coat, white or light blue. So they tell me that the Big Bang is where everything began. Hawking, Big Bang, and we're still expanding. And then the Big Bang was the size of what's in a thimble. And it's massive energy. We can't even comprehend. Boom, still expanding. But gravity and other stellar forces are going to cause the universe to contract. Once it expands, it's going to reach its max size and then come back down to Earth, so to speak. And we're all going to end up back in a thimble. Except you and I won't be alive when that happens. And our sun will burn out. Now, I have what I think are common sense questions. Okay, the Big Bang. There was this, whatever size, call it a golf ball, tennis ball size of matter that banged, big banged, and we're all here. Where was it? Where was this glob of matter that banged, that created the universe? Where was it? No, you can't say it was in the void. You can't say it was in another dimension, parallel or otherwise, astral plane. It had to be somewhere. Where was it? What was around it? Could you see it? Could somebody see this golf ball-sized bit of energy if they were not part of that? Could you be somewhere and see it? Could you be somewhere and witness this Big Bang instead of being a part of it? If so, where were you? Well, since nobody could see it, how the hell do they know it really happened? But I'm not supposed to ask that.
Okay, you are allowed to ask that, but there's an answer. And you probably should have looked for the fucking answer before you go out there and ask the question. No, see, this is the thing that's amazing about, like, this. Rush Limbaugh is the old right wing, but the new right wing does this a lot nowadays too, where they ask a really dumb question where there's an idea, or where there's, an answer, but they act like it's like a revolutionary act and they're being edgy. It's like, oh, I did it. I just said it. What? I guess I'm not allowed to ask that. I guess I'm not allowed to. No, you are allowed to ask. Of course you're allowed to ask it. But you also might want to look for the fucking answer before you ask it, like it's a gotcha. That's not a gotcha. It just shows that you're ignorant as to what the fucking Big Bang is. Now, listen, I'm not a science guy in that my mind doesn't work well in grasping science. It also doesn't work well in grasping math. But I'm also humble in that I understand that there are people who use the scientific method, know what the fuck they're talking about, and I'm willing to listen and hear them out and then adjust my own beliefs based on what the scientific method shows. Okay? So now let me try to explain in my limited and pathetic capacity how I understand the Big Bang. Now, I think it was discovered in around the 1920s that the universe is expanding. Well, people came up with this idea, okay, well, if the universe is expanding, well, then let's do some logical deduction here. That would mean that the further you go back in time, it goes in the other direction. It's not expanding, it's coming closer to us. So through logical deduction, if you keep drawing that line backwards, at a certain point, everything in the universe is in a, like, you know, something that's the size of a golf ball or the head of a fucking pin or whatever, or size of a basketball, about that size. The further you go back, you know, based on the evidence of the universe expanding, because we can measure that, we can ascertain from that, deduce from that the further you go back, the universe becomes smaller and smaller, and it becomes like the head of a pin or a golf ball or something like that. Well, guess what? In 1964, cosmic microwave background radiation was discovered. And they went, oh shit, that proves the theory that we were working on. We thought, oh, the universe is expanding, therefore the further you go back in time, the smaller the universe becomes. But if that's true, we should be able to see beyond, you know, the universe. There should be cosmic microwave background radiation. And that's what they found. They discovered that in 1964. And now it's widely accepted science that the Big Bang happened. Because you can deduce from the fact that the universe is expanding that the further back you go in time, it's a little tiny dense hot ball. And by the way, they calculated that it's about 13.8 billion years old. That's how old the universe is. And the fact that they found the cosmic background radiation and that all the physical laws of nature that we know of line up with the Big Bang, it makes perfect sense. Because it didn't always used to be this. There were other theories as well. There was like some theory that the universe was kind of stable throughout history that was believed until about 1964 when they found the cosmic microwave background radiation, and they were like, oh, okay, yeah, so it turns out the Big Bang is true. Now, listen, Rush, I'm an idiot, okay? Like I said, I'm not good at understanding science, but I'm also humble enough to know that there are people that have been working on this question using the scientific method for a very long time. So when I don't understand something, you know what I do? I read about it. But Rush Limbaugh didn't even have the fucking wherewithal to take a moment to go to the fucking Wikipedia page for Big Bang to go, okay, let me see, you know, what makes them think that this is correct. Or he didn't, he rejected it. But the reason he rejected it, I mean, what a flippant, dumb way of talking about it. Where he's like, you didn't see it. You didn't see it, therefore it can't exist. Nobody saw a fucking dinosaur, but we know dinosaurs exist because there's evidence that shows dinosaurs existed. I mean, that's such a stupid point. It's almost unimaginable that somebody would make that argument in 2018. If you asked me, I wouldn't have guessed that the dumbest of dumb people would have said, if you didn't see it, it couldn't happen. What the fuck are you... And in fact, eyewitness testimony is, like, infamous for being terrible because people have false memories all the time. They missee things all the time. But if you didn't see it, how do they know if they didn't see it? Oh, God, because there's evidence for it, you fucking idiot! You idiot! Oh, it's so sad how he thinks he's doing a gotcha. Like, he thinks this is a segment that people will listen to and be like, Rush did it again. He done did it again, man. He came up, Rush Limbaugh, he's so smart. He said, you can't see the Big Bang, that Big Bang. Who knows if that happened, man? Stop embarrassing yourself. It's so sad. And Rush Limbaugh's a guy, he's done this on almost all the issues. Climate science, he does it all the time. Oh, yeah? Well, it was hot in Phoenix today, so is the globe warming? It's like, come on, man. If you're gonna do bullshit propaganda, at least don't have it insult our intelligence. And that's what this does. It's fucking insulting to our intelligence. And again, I'm an idiot. I don't understand. I suck at getting scientific concepts, but I read a little bit about the Big Bang, and I was like, yeah, it seems to make sense. Honestly, it made sense to me after I heard about the universe expanding. On that alone, I was like, oh, okay, then I could see how you go back in time and we would be on the head of a pin. But, like, then when they discovered the cosmic microwave background radiation, it's like, oh, okay, well, that theory, the Big Bang predicted that, and then we found that. So, wow. That seems like a pretty open and shut case. But no. Mr. Conservatism, he loves to work backwards from his conclusion. And, you know, the reality is, he's a religious guy. And since he's a religious guy, he's going to, anything that kind of rationalizes and props up that ideology are arguments he'll believe in, no matter how facile and cheap and silly they are. And that's exactly what we're witnessing here. Somebody working backwards from his conclusion. Scientists, schmientists, they don't know anything because, there's things we don't know, and the only way to explain that, God. That's the God of the gaps argument. It's an argument that's existed for a long time. It's always been a giant logical fallacy, but they don't care because it helps them sleep at night. What happened to the idea of right-wingers believing in facts over feelings? What Rush Limbaugh is doing here is the exact opposite. This is feelings over facts. I don't care about what the science has shown and demonstrated. I'm gonna choose to believe this shitty argument because it makes me feel better about my ideology.